Hey, David Breslow back here with you again, a peak performance coach. And today's training video, I want to talk to you about that little voice that you hear in your head when you're standing over a ball or preparing for a shot sometimes. I call that voice your inner critic. So today I want to talk to you about killing the inner critic, because that critic has been the cause for more poor shots and failures and almosts and when it comes to hitting a great golf shot than anything that I know of. You know what I'm talking about when I say the critic, don't you? It's that little voice that pops up in your head, maybe just before you're about to take that swing. It's that little voice, almost always negative, and it's saying things like, you can't do this, or you have missed this shot 8 times in a row, or you're not really very good at this particular shot, or it's not going to work. You know, little things like that. And the critic just shows up whenever it feels like it, doesn't it? Because you have to remember, it's on a tape. We've been recording these messages for a long, long time in many cases, and it's going to show up just when we don't want it to show up. Isn't that generally what happens? So today I want to talk to you in this short training video about killing the critic, because that critic is killing you. So number one, I want you to remember that that voice is not all of you. Because many times golfers get caught up when they hear that voice, they kind of assume that that's them, and it's not. It's just a part of you. That critic is only a part of you. It's not all of you. I mean, it's no different than a 7-iron being part of a set of golf clubs. The 7-iron isn't everything. It's one club. The critic isn't all of you. It's one part of you. So stop making it as big as you've been making it all this time. It's really just a small part. And secondly, embrace the critic. Here's where a lot of golfers really kind of go south. When they hear the critic voice, what's the first thing many try to do? They fight it, they resist it, and what happens when you do that? All of a sudden you're in a battle with it. You made it real. You made it even bigger than it was before, just by arguing with it and trying to get rid of it and trying to remove it. Huge waste of time. Look at your own experience. If you've ever done that, you know all that does is make things worse. So when that critic voice shows up, embrace it. I know it sounds funny, but welcome it in. I actually ask my clients to almost make a game out of it, talk to it like it's a real thing, because for a lot of us, it is a real thing. You know, kind of do something like this. Invite it in. Say, hey, come on. I know who you are. I know what you do. I've heard you before. Come on in. Have a seat. I got a brand new television. Here's a remote. Why don't you go watch it, and I'm going to step over here, and I have something to do. And I know that sounds funny, but it actually works. When my clients do this, they end up laughing. And people kind of look at them and go, what's so funny? And they have to kind of make up a story, or, you know, I just thought of a joke or something like that. But it takes the edge off. When you embrace it, you just bring it in. Stop fighting with it. The more you fight with it, the more real you make it, and the harder it is. Now you're engaged in 2 battles. The one out there on the golf course where you're trying to play your best golf, and then the one in here. You don't need that. Stop fighting with the critic. And then number 3, tip number 3 for today, hugely important. Change your language, because quite often when the critic shows up, we often use the word I'm no good, I'm this, I'm that, I haven't been successful at this shot in a long time, I. Remember, when you use the word I, it becomes personal, doesn't it? You're talking about yourself. I'm no good. That's pretty darn personal. And once you start crossing that line and being personal, that's very hard to come back from. So switch the word I to the word that. This is a very simple move to make, and yet the outcome can be hugely different. All of a sudden it's, that was a bad decision, that was a bad shot, that was a poor choice, that was an unlucky bounce. Try it right now as you're listening to this video. Use the word I'm no good, see how that feels, and then switch that to that wasn't very good. Do you notice the difference? I can tell even when I'm saying it to you right now. When I say that wasn't very good, I've basically removed myself from that statement and the emotional component to it. That's over there somewhere. It's not me. That was a bad choice. And when you change from I to that actually allows you to be much more clear, to make better choices, and to move through whatever's going on much more quickly. So join me in killing the critic. Next time you go out on the golf course, you don't need the critic. Let it show up, embrace it, and start to use the word that instead of I. And remember, it's not all of you. It's just a small part of you. Dave Breslow, founder of the Personal Best Academy and owner of the mentalgolfcoaching.com website. Would love to have you go over there and visit. Have a wonderful new product that you may be very, very interested in. And make sure you leave some feedback below this video. Would love to have a chat with you. Would love to know what your thoughts are. So thanks again. Talk to you soon. Take care.